Hey guys, what's happening? Happy Wednesday. Excited to be here to check in on you, see how things are going for you. Gotten a couple of really good emails and comments from some members in the group, so I wanted to pop on here and just kind of check in, see what's happening, and to talk a little bit about what they're going through, because this might be something that resonates with you too. But before I get into that, I was recording a podcast that should come out not this Monday, but next Monday. I think it might come out this Monday. I'm not sure. Stay tuned. Pleasure Points podcast. Anyway, I was recording a podcast all about, it's one of the first podcasts that I've done of the 50 episodes or some odd things that I have on there that it's actually really directly related to dating and love life and all that. So if you're single or if you're in a relationship, this could be a really, really good one to check out, because I share some of the things that I've learned and gleaned from all of these years of doing relationship and dating coaching. And one of the things that has occurred to me is that, the transformation that has to happen is that, it's not about what do you text and, what do you say and how do you make a guy fall in love with you and never leave you and all of that kind of bullshit. It's the stuff that has to change is this fundamental shift to your relationship to love, with a capital L, and it's amazing how you might be super assertive and decisive and confident in all the areas of your life, but when it comes to love, and especially when it comes to meeting somebody, like when you first meet somebody and you start to really like them, how all of your normal strengths and faculties can just disappear, right? And that tells me that your relationship, part of it is chemistry, right? And it's just kind of these old things can get triggered, but ultimately it's your relationship to love, coming from a place of fear, scarcity. Is it going to leave? Is he going to leave? Is she going to leave? Is it going to disappear? Right? These are all things that start to come up, and it's that relationship to your idea and your experience of love that has to be transformed. And that's why so much of the work that I do, it's we're not talking about, what do you say? I'll coach clients with that if that comes up, right? But it's all done in the much larger context of, what is your relationship to yourself, to your heart, to intimacy, so that you can move forward in all of your relationships in a really powerful way. And so one of the members here in the group reached out to me earlier today or yesterday, and she was asking about, she said that she met this guy, things were going really well, she's feeling really excited, he was the best candidate that she's been with, or the best dating person that she's been with in a long time. And after a few dates, and then you can probably guess that after they slept together, right, the dude disappeared. And so she was asking, what could she do to get him to come back? And, that right there is already something that is, if you're starting to think like that, and I have compassion, right? I understand. It's the heart wants what it wants, and especially if you haven't had a good partner in a while. When you meet someone, it gets really exciting. You just want to snatch it up, right? But it's actually the opposite that has to happen, right? We have to just allow things to flow. And so if you're asking yourself, if you're in this position too, and you're asking yourself, what can I do to get this person to come back? Look, every situation is different, but the short answer is nothing. The short answer is get on with your life. Feel good, feel and create a life that you're proud of, and get back to being your best self. Tap into your heart, take good care of yourself. And then you can ask yourself, okay, what can I celebrate from what happened? And what can I learn from what happened? And if you've paid attention to any of the videos in here, you've heard me say it before, waiting to sleep with a guy is usually a very good idea. Right? It's not a hard and fast rule. Lots of people sleep together on the first night and they get married and ride off into the sunset and whatever. But generally speaking, the longer you wait, the more it gives time for those initial waves of chemistry to pass, or those initial surges, and allows real intimacy to develop, emotional intimacy. This person gets to see how amazing you are, and then it shifts from being, someone to be bested or conquested, and to someone who can be loved and appreciated and cherished. And then it makes that moment that you guys have of intimacy that much more special, right? It can make it that much better. So instead of asking yourself, how do I manipulate my behavior, or how do I show up differently so that this person will come back, instead ask yourself, what can I do to love on myself even more in this moment? What can I do for myself that maybe I haven't done in a while? What are the reasons, right? Start stacking some of those beliefs of like, what are the things that I do that are great? Why is this guy walking away from me like the biggest mistake of his life? And to cultivate those belief tables. And then ultimately it's also about shifting and transforming this belief that like maybe there's just one or two people that are right for you out there. You know, my clients that have worked with me know that like we talk about the different attachment types, right? And one of the hallmarks of somebody who's securely attached and who's able to create secure attachments is that they don't think that there's just one partner who's great for them. They know that they have the possibility of creating chemistry and creating the foundation of a great relationship with a lot of different people, because they know that it's how they show up. It's what's in their heart. It's when they, you know, show up in integrity with themselves. They show up congruently when like their actions and their words are all in alignment, right? And they know that when they do that, that a lot of people are going to be attracted to them, and that using that skill set, they're going to be able to move forward out into the world and to create great relationships. And that's why in the dating world, people who are able to create this kind of attachment aren't single for very long, right? They tend not to linger in the dating world for very long unless they're just choosing that, right? If they just want to not go into a relationship. But as someone who is able to create a secure attachment, pretty much when they decide that they're ready to be in a relationship, then that's what they do. They start creating a relationship, right? They find somebody like, okay, we can make this work. Right? And so that's how it builds from there. And so part of the ability to get there is to transform your belief. If you're sitting there and you believe that, you know, there's only one good person for you out there, there was only that one soulmate, right? And maybe they just left, or maybe they left a long time ago, or you left them and now you're lamenting it, right? Whatever that is to transform that. You know, because otherwise, if you're just beholden to this idea that you have this one twin flame or you have this one special person that was going to be your end all be all for everything, and now that they're gone, then what do? Right? You just spend the rest of your life pining and watching sad movies and listening to sad songs? No. And all of that is a belief, right? It's just between like what's between our ears there. You know, can you believe that there's more of that out there? And the beauty of doing this kind of work is that like when you start changing your beliefs, what you start seeing changes. And so you start to be able to be like, look at someone and be like, oh yeah, this guy, like, oh, I never really thought about it that way before, but oh, maybe he is a good candidate, right? And for some of you that are single, there is a pretty good chance that the person that would be a great partner for you is already in your life. It's possible, but maybe you've just never really looked at them as being romantic kind of paramour, you know, because you've been chasing people that are unhealthy for you. So, you know, my heart goes out to the member in the group here who reached out because, listen, it sucks, right? You get excited and somebody leaves, right? It hurts. It sucks. But we could choose to stay in that story that it sucks, or we can start to choose to celebrate what was great, right? She's that much closer to attracting a great person because she was able to call someone in that she got really excited about, right? As opposed to all of the deadbeats or people that were just kind of like whatever for her for so long. So that's great. So you can celebrate what's good. And every time that these things happen, I like to spend like maybe 10% of my time or so thinking about, okay, what could I do differently? And then the 90% of building the belief tables and moving forward and living in that way where my success is inevitable. And now there was another, I got another member post this week. I love it when you guys write in. It makes all the conversation that much easier. And she sent me a direct message, and she was asking about this guy that she, I might sort of, some of the details might be a little off, but somebody that was like in their friend group, they were really close. They were doing, you know, they had like similar events and functions and stuff that they're out at. And they started to kind of hooking up, right? Their friends were like, how come you guys aren't together? And they started hooking up. And he did the kind of the classic move of, listen, I really like you. It's great to hang out with you. But I'm not really looking for a relationship. But he was also inviting her to go out, right? Or to go on a vacation together. He also told her that it's okay if she tells their friends that they're seeing each other. And then he reminds her that, you know, he's really not looking for a relationship. And, you know, she's confused because they start sharing a lot of emotional intimacy, right? But then the guy goes, he disappears. And so then she's left wondering, like, what the heck, what happened? you know, this guy was saying all the right things and like all the stuff, and he says that I could tell my friends about all the stuff, and then he disappears. And this is like classic, what we call in the attachment world, right? This is classic avoidant behavior. And so again, you know, you want to take a look at it, and actions are going to speak way more than words, except if those words are, I'm not looking for a relationship. So when someone says they're not looking for a relationship, you got to believe them, right? And if he says, oh, it's okay if you tell our friends that we're seeing each other, like, that is not okay, right? I'm not going to feel good or secure or be happy with what's happening until he's telling the friends that he's in a relationship with you, right? Or that you guys are seeing each other. So I'm going to let him follow the lead, or let her follow, you know, I'm going to follow her lead. Especially if you are thinking like, well, okay, wait a second. They've sort of said that they want to keep it casual, but then they're telling me I can tell people, like, what is that kind of weird move? And so, you know, what happened was that the dude is being the dude, right? He's being classic avoidant behavior. And once again, like, it can hurt, right? And we can be confused and be frustrated and be upset, or you can take what you learned from it, and then start celebrating what was good. And hold on, what's going on? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Can she fit?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, guys. Just having some moving things around in here. And so, yeah. So this stuff can happen, right? So you want to believe their actions when their actions are things that are leading to intimacy, right? And then, bye-bye. Ciao. You okay?
¿No se baña? No, está bien. ¿Sí? ¿Seguro? Sí, está bien.
Jen's taking this life to the next level, and she's having the manicurist come to the house. That's amazing. Where was I? Right. So, oh yeah. So, you know, the guys are going to say what they're going to say. And again, a lot of it happens where, you know, oftentimes after they start having sex, like, things change. You know, and if people are avoidant, and when they start to catch feelings, or if they think that it might go that direction, they're just going to retreat and backpedal and disappear. And so, you know, moving forward, when you are manifesting and thinking about what's in your journal and what you want to be creating in your life, you want to create someone who's available and ready to commit. You want to create someone who's manifest someone in your life who's not afraid of commitment, who's not afraid of feelings, and someone who is willing to show you in both words and actions that they are feeling the same way about the relationship. So, you know, saying that he wants to take a trip with you or take you away, like, that's great, that's fine, that's wonderful, lovely, but that doesn't even necessarily mean that he's ready for a committed relationship, especially if he says that he's not into it. Listen, it's like classic dude move, right? It's just to say, like, oh, I don't really want a relationship, but then they're going to do all of the things that can behave a lot like a boyfriend. And then, you know, the feelings start to catch in, and you're like, I get all confused, because it's like, well, the intimacy is here, right? And then he's just going to say, you know, keep falling back. You're like, listen, I told you I didn't want a relationship, you know, or you find out that he's out with somebody else. And, you know, one of the things that she said was like, she's like, listen, if I'm sleeping with you, I'm not sleeping with anybody else. All right? I love the honesty there. But, you know, there can't be an expectation, especially if he said that he's not into a committed relationship, right? She can't expect that he's going to match that behavior. So if you only want to sleep with one person, like, that's fine, right? But you can't expect that that's going to be reciprocated, especially if he said that he's not looking for a relationship. Same thing with dating. Some people don't like to date more than one person at a time. That's totally fine. But you have to know that when people are dating, oftentimes they're dating multiple people. That's why it's called dating. And so just because, and even if you say like, oh, I only see one person, I only date one person at a time, you know, you can't expect that that's going to be where it's reciprocated. And so if that's what you want back, then that's a very, very different conversation. And so again, part of this comes back to like being really clear with your words, and just, you know, are you saying exactly what it is that you mean? Are you asking precisely for what it is that you want? You know, and there is an art to that. There's an art to knowing timing and being able to communicate in a way that's not threatening, and, you know, it's not going to put somebody off who might be a little bit of afraid of intimacy. But at the end of the day, if you can put your hand over your heart and you're just like, you know what, I showed up, I feel proud of how I showed up, I love all the actions that I took, and this person is still not treating you the way you want to be treated, Like, throw a party for yourself. Celebrate the fact that the universe has made it crystal clear that that's not the best partner for you. Because if you waste another day or moment pining over someone, especially pining over someone who's made it clear that they're not ready for a relationship, that's just time that's wasted, right? And so, I want all of us, like, let's just all put your hands over your heart, take a deep breath, and rediscover, like, the majesty that's you. Rediscover the joy and the beauty that is, like, in your body. I mean, how amazing is it that we have this life right now, right? That we can just take a deep breath. And even if there isn't that partner in your life right now, like, if you've got a pet that you can love, if you've got a niece, a nephew, an aunt, an uncle, a best friend, like a plant, right? Whatever, right? That you get to, like, put that love out into the world and you get to receive those blessings back. I mean, like, when you start building the foundation of your new life from this place of gratitude, that's everything. So when I started here talking about, like, rediscovering or transforming your relationship to love, when you start at a place of gratitude, something happens in the brain where you're not able to live in a place of shame. You're not able to live in embarrassment. You're not even able to live in the throes of the emotional turmoil that comes with trauma. When you are able to live and breathe gratitude, everything around you starts to change. And I've said it before and I'll keep saying it, is that most people don't care what the baggage is that you carry. What they care about is how you carry it. What is your relationship to that shit? And if you look at it and you're like, you know what? This baggage, the stuff that I carry here, or the scars that I have made me who I am today, and they've helped me to be awesome. That's going to be very different than someone who is still interacting with fears, resentments, frustrations, not speaking their truth, not being in alignment with themselves, not really saying what they mean, but playing these games back and forth, right? That gets all sorts of out of whack. But when you start building on gratitude, and if you can be thankful for the scars that you have, for the cuts and the scrapes and the emotional wounds and all of the things, and you come with gratitude, and you bring that gratitude out with you when you're on these dates and meeting people, that is, like, so beautiful. It's so magnetic. And that's where I just say it doesn't really matter what anybody has been through as far as if you can be attractive or not, if someone can love you or not. What matters is how you relate to it. What matters is your relationship. And if you can come from a place of gratitude and you present it in that way, and you're just like, yeah, that stuff was really challenging, but it's helped to make me awesome. I mean, what's a guy going to say? Or a guy, or anyone, they're going to just be like, oh man, that's amazing. Like, tell me more about how you transform that. Automatically it's like you get hard eyes, and it's just, everything starts to shift there. And so if you're out there and you've been saying, well, I have to heal myself in order for me to be attractive. I have to heal myself in order for me to be loved. Like, with all due respect, that's bullshit, right? What has to happen, you're lovable as you are, and that's to recognize that. But if you want to step into a greater place of freedom, and if you want to be able to show up on dates where you can feel clean, fresh, and, like, emotionally, like, present, and not burdened and not so reactive, then we've got to transform your relationship to love. And part of the way to do that is to start coming back to gratitude. So for the women that wrote in, right, my heart is open for you guys. I hate hearing when, people's heart hurts. And at the same time, what can you be grateful for about what happened? What have you learned? How are you going to show up differently? Or how did you show up in a great way that you're celebrating? And start building that table of gratitude and watch what changes. And if this is challenging for you, as it is for a lot of people, right, I'm here to help. So feel free to book your call. It's a free call, invitinginlove.com/talk. This is the kind of work that we do. I just got a lovely email from a woman who finished up my program last night. And, she reached out to me today, and she was just like, so many exclamation points of joy in the subject heading, and she was so grateful, and I was so grateful for her to be in the program. And she had the courage to look at some of the dark stuff. She did some amazing work, you know, and now she's able to go forward in a powerful way where she's not burdened by the relationship with her ex anymore. She's not burdened by, you know, the stories that she grew up hearing from family around her that told her not to dream, you know, and she's taken massive action steps to own her dream and to show up with a big open heart. So if that's the kind of transformation that you're looking for, I'd love to talk to you, right? My work isn't a fit for everybody. On this call, I'm going to help you get clarity, and I'm also going to be determining what is the best next steps for you. A lot of times it's not even to work with me, and I'll be the first one to tell you that. And for some of you, if it is to work with me, we'll talk about what that looks like. So go to the calendar, check out, find the time that works for us, and I can't wait to talk to you. So thank you guys for being here. Oh, Leah said, oh my gosh, Jim, this is exactly what I was journaling about today. My scars make me more lovable. For sure. Absolutely. I love that, Leah. Thank you for sharing. Absolutely. 1000%. Scars are where the stories are, right? That's where your character is built. That's where, you know, you can like create those kind of secure attachments, because you're like, man, I've been through the shit before. And when I commit, I'm here. I am here.